Hi everybody! You're about to see a little bit of a demo on the new features and functionalities of Mix Report Express. I trust that Aga and Renzo have given you a good introduction on the end-to-end process. And I wanted to take this time to give you a little demo myself, just because Report Express has been undergoing a lot of new developments lately. And due to people's travels and everything, we were not able to spend enough time showing the new functionalities to your team over there in Lima. So I'm going to use this video recording to have a 10-15 minute demo of the major functionalities. Aga and Renzo have the logins to Report Express, and so if you have any follow-up questions, I'm sure they'll be able to address them. Okay, so you heard that there are different roles and permissions in Report Express. So with the theme of different users and our engagement with different users, we have also created different views on Report Express. For example, if you are a gold client, you are a data requester, and you will be able to have one view onto your portfolio. If you are a data provider, an MFI, an FSP, or a network we work with who provides data on behalf of MFIs, you will have another view onto MRE. And of course, if you're a mix analyst, you will have your own view. What differentiates the different roles in MRE is really the level of permissions. So for example, a gold client would see only their portfolio and their MFIs. An analyst can see all of the MFIs assigned to them. A data provider will look at the data only for their particular MFI. But before I show you the different roles, I wanted to show you a little bit about the admin functionality of Report Express. So most of you have probably read the rather long and dry document on the admin functionalities, and you have a basic understanding of the complexity of the system that would automate a lot of the processes that we use today, such as communications. We do a lot of our communications today manually. MRE will automate that. Tracking. We know that we do a lot of manual tracking today. Different Excel sheets, we have Salesforce, we have multiple places where we track information. But MRE will help us pull all of this together in the same place. Okay, so what you see here are a lot of different modules. Each of these modules represents different functionality of the system. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I wanted to concentrate on the ones that are new for the Gamma version of Report Express. So where we configure different user roles and permissions is here. So what you can see here is the different role, for example, Mix Analyst, and these are all the different functionalities that you could have access to. So the Mix admin can control what kind of permissions the different roles have. And you can see here that you have Analyst, Provider, Requester, and Mix admin. Okay, so those are already configured. That's done only one time, but tomorrow if we decide to develop new functionalities in MRE, such as add social performance, that would show up as a new functionality here, and we will be able to control what the different roles see. Okay, so another functionality that is new is the ability to define the relationship between the gold clients and their MFIs. The reason we want to be able to do that is that everything stems from this relationship. So we need to know who reports to whom, of course, and we need to know when the reporting relationship starts and when it ends, because this is the time period that the gold client would want the data from. So for example, AGBA here is listed as reporting to UNCDF, right? And the start date is January 1st, 2013. This would help the system determine what is the reporting calendar for AGBA to UNCDF. And we actually can go and look at that in the activity report. This is another function of the admin panel. So let's filter on AGBA only and on UNCDF. And as you see, the report here shows you what's coming up for AGBA in the next 3 months. So, as per the obligations for AGBA to UNCDF, it looks like AGBA has to report monthly, quarterly, and annually to UNCDF. This is determined from the types of templates we have tagged AGBA with. So, for example, I would have created a UNCDF monthly template and tagged AGBA to that template. And so what we can see that in the next 3 months, from today onwards, we have 3 monthly reports coming up, which are due 1 month after the end of the preceding month. We have an annual and a quarterly report. So AGBA would have that same view when they log in as a data provider, and they would be able to have one glance and know what their reporting obligations are. Another functionality of the admin panel is the automated communication. So today we send most of it manually, the requests, the reminders, and so on. But through MRE, we will be able to be setting up these emails automatically. So here's where the email template content is created. And here's where we set up the different reporting schedules. So I'm going to make an experiment to show how these automatic emails get generated. This is a little functionality that allows me to tell the system what date it is so that the system can generate the automatic emails. So for example, let's say that it's April 1st, which, as you heard on the Monday session from Blaine, is our drop dead deadline to launch Report Express. I'm going to change the system, date and time, and that should trigger an automatic email. So the system thinks it's April 1st and it's time to send a data request to the MFIs. So as you can see, I get that email. I'm a provider for Avicar in this case, and the email lists who are my data requesters to whom I need to provide data to, and it lists the deadline. And I have set myself up as data provider to a couple of MFIs. That's why these emails keep coming. Okay, so let's now take a look at the different views that our different users will have onto MRE. So let's log in as a data requester. So now this would be the view of a gold client eventually. We are working on a single sign-on so that their logins on Mixed Market and here would be one and the same. For MRE launch, this would not be ready, but soon after that, we expect that it will become ready. So this is what a gold client will see as they log in. As you can see, they cannot see new reports to report to, but they could open up a saved report of their MFI and look at it. So let's take a look at a saved report. Let's pick Banco Sol. So what you could see is that they can only see the UNCDF report for Banco Sol because this is a requester from UNCDF. And they can only download the form in Excel. They cannot save, validate, submit, none of these functionalities that normally the MFIs or the analysts can do, but they can view. And this is something that we've heard as a request from them. How can we have access to the raw data, the raw reports that the MFIs are providing? Another new and very important functionality is here the comments. So as you can see here, the analyst has sent a comment back to the provider, and then the provider has responded. So the data requester, the gold client, can come in and have a record of all the communication, all the back and forth that has happened between the mixed analyst and the provider. Okay, so let's go now and see the view of an analyst. So a slightly different view. So for example, you can see here that an analyst is able to see the new report functionality. Why? Because we know that in a lot of cases, we will be receiving offline Excel forms and we will need to process them ourselves. In the survey that we sent prior to the regional rally, this came as one of the questions. What do we do if we receive offline Excel sheets? Well, the first step, of course, is to encourage the MFI to use MRE. So the first approach may be to ask them to log back in, help them through their login, and see if they upload the data. However, if there's not much traction there, you will be the one that's using the new report functionality and be submitting the data on the MFI behalf. Now, what would you do as an analyst on daily basis in MRE? Whereas today you have to wait for me to announce to you that data has been submitted to MRE and you need to go and check it, this no longer would be the case with an automated business tracking. So the business tracking is going to be your tracking tool where you could see what the status is of your portfolio. So the status could be either not started, the MFI has not reported on a particular report, in progress, it means that they have started and saved their report, but they haven't submitted. Submitted is obvious, they've submitted, and this is the action required kind of status. So you want to be filtering to this status on a daily basis to see which MFIs have submitted their reports so that you go and review it. In review means that you have sent them a comment and you're awaiting a response from them. And what happens when they respond to your comment is and save their work, the report moves back to in progress. So they will have to submit again so that you review their submission. Partially published is for the cases where an MFI has published to one requester but not to another. And published is when data is fully published on Mixed Market. So MRE is set up to communicate with Mixed Market so that when you go onto the data review, when you publish the data, it communicates back to the system and updates the status. So in a little bit, on the next slide, Aga and Renzo will be showing you how the tracking is related to our priorities and our goals. So I hope you enjoyed this little demo of MRE, and I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are in Hyderabad, and the challenges are on. So keep yours coming and we will keep ours coming. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.